Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fatback 4. Sorry we're late. It's my fault. My laptop's fault. Well, blame whatever you want. Sorry we're late. Grizz, Ian, Matt, Gav, the usual. Huddersfield 0, Liverpool 1, and not the best of games, but a lot of people really happy with not playing well and winning. Matt, I'll come to you first. A 1-0 win. Is that 7 league wins and 2 draws now? That's right, 7 league wins and 2 draws. 23 points.
Yes.
Not playing well. Not playing badly, but just doing the job. Are you happy?
Yeah. Another one ticked off. I said this the other week as well. It's Klopp's holding us back. You can see where... I think I saw a chart the other day.
We should sack him.
10th in the...
He's holding us back. Just fuck him out of the club.
Let's just get rid of him.
Yeah, okay.
No, I saw a chart the other day. We're 10th in the Premier League for pressing numbers. So to go from what we were... We started slow last year as well. Everyone forgets. Everyone says, take us back to how we were last year. We started just like this last year, but these 1-0 wins we're getting now, we weren't getting as many. So he always starts slow, pretty much after his first full season when he got absolutely ravaged over Christmas. He starts to slow and then we build up into the season. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. The only difference is we've got a world-class defence and keeper now, so we can get these 1-0 wins where we haven't been able to in the past. So I'm absolutely all for it. We're saving legs for later in the season. We're also coming off the back of a World Cup summer as well. A lot of our players have had a lot of football been played in the last 2 years. So I'm absolutely fine. This is all his plan. Anyone who's worried about it needs to give the head a wobble.
Okay. Ian, Matt reckons he's holding us back. He's nursing us through this season and hoping we peak at the right time. Are you in agreement?
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure if it's by design or if it's as a result of a manic pre-season, which we obviously have on the clock. But even still, it's the same as last season. I think it was the Maribor game when we finally started clicking last season on it, when we scored 15 goals or whatever. But people just need to show a little patience, mate. We've actually got more goals this season than last season at this time. We've got more points, and obviously we're now the clean sheet Reds. Listen, defensive football or having a solid base at the back isn't as eye-catching as like our front three, like doing murders each week. Do you know what I mean? Or just winning 5-1 and 4-2 and all that. It's not as eye-catching, but it's more effective because we've got more points at this stage than we had last season by being a lot more solid at the back. So anyone who's got a problem with it, do you know what I mean? It's like it's not enough to win anymore. You have to win in a way that someone on Twitter demands that you win in a certain way. When did winning not be enough? When did it have to be, you can only win, but under my premise? So, listen, it's sad. Everyone knows we're not playing as well as we can play. But a bit like last season, like I just said, it takes us a while to get going. And we've got the aftermath of a World Cup as well. The Premier League season, it can affect players in different ways, do you know what I mean? So we're unbeaten after 9 games. We're top with the all-conquering Manchester City. Well, I don't know how you can not be happy.
No, I don't know how you can't be happy either. Moving along
nicely. Married to Grizz.
You're moving along nicely. You're how many games are we in? Seven games in. 23 points. Is that 2.5 points a game? Am I right? A little over 2.5 points a game. 23
points in 7 games. Doesn't work. 9 games, 7 wins. 2 draws.
9 games. 20. Yeah, so we're still on track for a 95-ish point season. Grizz, we'll get on to stuff later on. We'll discuss certain individuals and probably the fan base and the reaction to different things. But for you, another win, a lot of changes. Didn't play overly well, but won the game. And these are games that, let's be honest, in the past, we go and draw or lose.
Yeah, it's like a broken record, isn't it? We're actually just churning wins, and people can't can't understand why we're churning out wins. I don't get it. It's weird. Short memories, call it what you want. But Ian and Matt are right. We were slow out of the blocks last season as well. And that wasn't on the back of a World Cup. This time it's on the back of the World Cup, where all our star forwards were away and played. You got to remember the previous season where they played every single minute of every fucking single game, near enough, when they were available, because there was no rotation. So they've come into this season, and Klopp's identified, and Klopp and his team, coaching staff know about players' fitness and what levels they're at. And Matt says, Matt didn't mean holding back. I thought he was going to go on a run, but when he says holding back in terms of sort of, we're playing a different type of game now. We're not pressing as much. We're not using up our energy as much, and it's all part and parcel of a plan, I believe, because it makes sense. Because on the back of a long preseason, back of a World Cup, we're playing in a different way, but it's a working way. It's a way that's working, and may it continue long. I'd love playing like this all season and churning out 1-0 wins. How many more wins do we need, Matt? Gav? You were saying at the start of the season we need
23. We need 23 more.
23 more. Bring me 23 more wins with Lovren, Lallana, Henderson, Milner, even Moreno in the team. I don't give a fuck. Give us 23 more 1-0 boring wins, and we've won the title. End of story.
Yeah, I said 30 wins at the start of the season. You need to win it. We've 7. We need 23 more, and all of the draws will add up on top of 94, 95.
We get that.
Matt, I want to turn to the lineup. He goes Alisson in goal. He keeps Gomez, Lovren, Van Dijk, Robertson. You see Milner, surprisingly for me, is in the side. Henderson, Shaqiri, and then you have Lallana, Sturridge, Salah. It's not one you expected, is it?
It's so hard to know because we don't see it in training. Some of these lads got back from international duty very late. We don't know what fitness they got back in. You don't know anything. So I've said this a few times. I've given up questioning the lineup because Klopp just proves me wrong every single week. Whenever if we have a little paddy, why are we playing Milner or whatever? He ends up scoring them. I just end up looking stupid. So I've stopped questioning them. Klopp's made his decision based on fitness. Also, like with Trent, he's obviously resting him because he's a young lad. It's not going to be forever. Gomez will go back to centre-back, or Gomez might have a break and Trent comes in. We've got players now where we can rotate. There's a lot of people pissed off that Milner and Lovren and people are in, but they're not bad players. They could be improved on. They've got errors in them, but they're still good players. And to have them to be able to rotate in, we're in a lot better place than we've been for a long time with regards to the squad. So at this moment in time, I don't even look for the lineup on Twitter. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't enter my head anymore.
You don't need to. Grizz tells you at 10:30 in the morning.
I was just going to say, don't you check my messages? Anyway. No.
Matt's not even giving us a response to that. He doesn't believe you, Grizz. Ian, the lineup for you, after the international break, you see a couple of changes. Some enforced, probably some he chose to go with. Some probably enforced. Keita is missing. Mane is missing. When you looked at I'll be honest with you. When I looked at the side and I thought it was going to be Shaqiri in the midfield three, I actually thought it was going to be Lallana in the midfield three and Shaqiri further up. But when the game shapes up, I'm worried about our lack of burst and pace. Up front, I think Sturridge. I thought he played very well yesterday, but he can slow us down a little bit. And Lallana just has no pace in him, but he works hard. Was that a worry for you, or did you think, no, that 11 is good enough, that'll do the job? And let's be honest, they got it done.
I'm a bit like Matt, mate, and I've said many times, and I don't stress over the team sheet anymore. I thought Shaqiri would have played on the left, like Salah on the right, and Lallana at the tip of the three. But I dare say Huddersfield thought that as well. So it works for us, do you know what I mean? And I think the biggest criticism I've got for our side at the moment is there's too much of a gap between our midfield three and our front three. Usually, in the past we had Coutinho, and then when he left, Oxlade-Chamberlain filled the role really well, carrying it from A to B quickly and feeding the front three. We haven't got that at the moment. So the one time we really opened up into the backfield against Huddersfield was Shaqiri in that type of role, playing the through ball, and that's when we got the goal. I think that's so he's a lot, and we've spoke about it in previous pods. How he's a lot more creative than people realise. So I was fine with how he set up and stuff like that. I was surprised he didn't start Fabinho, to be honest. I thought it was a perfect game to start him. But like Matt's just said there, they've all been on friendlies all around the world. I don't know where Brazil played. So you don't know how they've come back. I would have liked to have seen him start, but at no point am I going to spit me dummy out and start calling Klopp or whatever, because he's vindicated by the result once again. So I just don't know how. Like there was people complaining. I don't know if we'll get onto it in a bit, but there's people complaining about Lovren's inclusion again. In the 2 games Lovren's played, I think we've had 2 shots on target against us in 2 games. We can't play Gomez as centre half every single week because he's only a young lad with a history of injuries. Trent Alexander's only just turned 20, so he needs a rest. He doesn't rate Klein. Klein's done at Liverpool, I think. So he's just moving his parts around bit by bit. And he's very rarely proven wrong. Very rarely proven wrong. I think we haven't been at our best this season, but we've only really deserved to lose 1 game all year, and we did lose it. Well, apart from, I'm not talking about the Caramel Cup. So I just don't get the fume, mate, to be honest. I do think we're a little bit disjointed when Sturridge plays. I've always said it. He's a different type of player than Firmino. But I don't think Sturridge played that well yesterday, actually. I disagree with you, Gav. But, you know what I mean? It's job done. I think Liverpool are the type of side at the minute that will raise their level to whoever they're playing. So if we were playing a flying City yesterday, I think we'd have been good enough for City. He just seemed, Matt's right. We do seem a bit more reserved and holding stuff in the tank. But I'll stop talking now anyway, because I've done a Grizz 15-minute rant there. So.
No, that's cool. Grizz, the lineup, the lads are giving it. Matt, stop guessing. And Ian reckons we've another gear to go. We need it. I thought that in the game yesterday, being honest, I thought if they were to score on 55-60, I think we did have another gear to go up. But it looked for me as the game wore on, we were happy to let them have it, and then we'll see where we go from there. But for you, Grizz, these changes have to come at some stage in the season. You know, they've probably come. You know, he's got through the first block of 8 league games, and now is probably the time to rotate and give people a rest, especially international breaks. But do we have to just get on with this, Grizz, and just say, look, if he makes 2-3 changes, we just have to accept this. This is what a squad is all about. You know, or do we go back to just having 11 good players and hope they play every week? Because when we had that, people gave out that we didn't have enough players. I know we'll get on to all this later, but did you look at it and think that's just the squad? That's what we have to do?
I don't think we've got much choice, have we? We have to accept it and carry on. Before the break, he intimated that we're going to see much more rotation. He's built up this squad over the 3 seasons he's been here. He's finally got options in positions, and he can select the games where he feels that he could do without a Bobby or a Mane, for example, whatever. And, you know, he even rested. I mean, look, I think that lineup surprised a lot of people, everyone. I mean, Jim out midfielder. He just, Gomez has been the outstanding centre-back, in my opinion, but he shifted him to right back. And let's not forget, we're coming off a clean sheet against Man City. And to be honest with you, didn't really look like conceding either against Man City. So he's justified in picking who he thinks will do a job. Huddersfield got 2 massive lumps up front who, were always going to target or try to pull off if Trent was playing or a Klein was playing in that right back area. So he decided to put the more taller Gomez right back, Lovren, in centre. It made sense to me. The midfield, Lallana was a massive shock that he went straight in after a week's training. Or we don't know how long Lallana's been training, but I agree. I think we honestly could have raised our levels according to the game and according to the scenario. They had a bit of pressure. They had a bit of sort of, effort. And, they put in a lot of effort, I'd say. Not much skill there, but a lot of effort. And, as long as we matched the effort, I was comfortable. I thought the lineup, I thought it panned out brilliantly. couple of our players got rests, and we got 3 points. What more do you want?
Yeah, 100%.
Can I just say that lad up front for Huddersfield, what's his name, Del Potre, whatever.
Potre.
He's comfortably the worst centre forward in the Premier League. Oh man, he is dire.
He's there just to. I think he's there just to be physical.
He's a massive lump. Though.
Yeah, that's all he is. And
but
I think
absolute.
I think their problem, is that with a big lad up front like that, you need fast, and dynamic people around them. And I just don't think they had it in the wide areas. They had hard working guys in that wide areas. Like the commentators made a big deal of this guy down the left that was all in a massive duel with Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez walked through that fucking game yesterday. Let's be honest about it. So they just don't have any dynamism, I don't think, around him, apart from what's that guy in the middle of the park, the baldy fella.
Moy.
Yeah, he's a decent player. Matt, we get into the game. There's not a hell of a lot to go on because I think Liverpool kind of look to see what have Huddersfield got, and I think they're quite happy to play in the break at times, although they have a lot of the ball. But I'm going to go straight to the goal, Matt. A lot's been talked about Salah over the last couple of weeks. Like flashing the pan and one season wonder shit I heard. But it's a cracking goal, isn't it? From Gomez to Shaqiri, the weight of the ball, everything about it is a top quality goal.
Yeah, that's Salah all over that goal, isn't it? Just playing off the back foot, turn, run through, and a little toe poke into the corner. He'd done that countless times last season, and it's good seeing him do it again. Shaqiri, I love him. He looks so dangerous, whether he's going for goal or he's setting people up every time he's played for us. To have him, I was a bit worried in the summer when we got him, and he was the only one we got for the backup. But now my Studgie's fit as well. When we got Shaq and Studge, I'm happy to have them two as the backup up there. He's great.
Have you begun a petition for Moreno not to go to Barcelona?
He's not going.
Oh, is he not?
He told me he's staying.
Oh, he's signed a new deal like Jean is. Okay. But no, go on, continue. It's top quality to go.
Yeah, it's Liverpool all over. And do you know what? We weren't far off having a few more, especially when Bobby came on. It was just that last little ball. We've done it all season. We've rushed it, or it's been the wrong pass, but we're not far off. The build-up play and everything was absolutely fine. We controlled the game nicely. It was good. I think someone's getting a hiding soon. I reckon. As soon as we got Mane back and Bobby on there, we're going to be giving people a hiding, definitely.
Yeah, I was talking to Shawnee FC today, and I was saying he was delighted with the win, and he was like, look, it's 3 points. Great. He was absolutely delighted, and everyone's always happy to see that Shawnee's happy. But what he was saying,
he's my favourite slipper.
Yeah, what he was saying to me is that he said, look, exactly what Matt said. Someone's getting a hiding, and I can see it in the next 2 league games. I think it's more Fulham than Cardiff. I think Fulham are a little bit more open than Cardiff will be, and they think they've a bit more about them. I think it might be Fulham. Although a lot of people think it will be Cardiff. I think Cardiff will have 11 men across the 6-yard box for the majority of Anfield next week.
We'll smash them both.
We probably are, but I think Fulham could be one of those where they could come out and try players and we could absolutely crucify them. Ian, staying on the goal, I've watching Salah for the last couple of games, the effort's been there. Probably the final pass has just been a bit off, or his decision making has been a slight bit off, where last season he was scoring from all angles. That goal yesterday, he didn't have a lot of time to think. He just had to, he'd one function, and that's what he done, and it was in the back of the net. Did that help him? That he didn't have, like, say for him, a defender really close to him where he had to think, do I shoot, do I come inside him? He just had to think finish, and it worked for him.
I think so. I think just let your natural ability take over rather than overthink things. I think one thing that's never in question about him, even when his finishing's off or his passing's off, whatever, his movement is of the highest quality. Mohamed Salah, he works that line, that front line, and that back four, back five, wherever. Sometimes he's incredible as movements. He always finds space. One thing I liked about this goal is most of his movements are from out to in. This was the other way around. He went from in to out almost. Didn't take a touch, straight in. I thought it was a really, really good goal. We had the ball, it seemed like for about 5 minutes building up to it. We were dead patient at the back, and then Gomez set it on its way. Shaqiri was excellent in that pocket of space that I mentioned before. And it's just a really good goal. I mean, again, I don't think he's he's playing that well. But Salah is playing as well as he can. But there was just signs yesterday. There was a couple of times when he'd done a couple of spins and he bamboozled the defenders. That was like last season's player. And like Matt just said there, Salah would have had a couple more goals. But there was one time in particular where we had 3-on-2 and Firmino played the worst through ball you'll ever find. Do you know what I mean? When he should have been clean through. And so it's not that far off. And as long as you keep, like Gary Lineker always said, didn't he? As long as you're still getting the chances, then you'll be okay. It's when you go missing and when you're not getting chances and stuff like that. And his movement is phenomenal. Like, so it was good to see him scoring. It's good to see him score a right-footed goal as well.
Yeah, Grace, I don't know how many goals there is for the season, for league goals. It might be 4 league goals, I think. 4 league goals. It's a goal. It's a 1 and 2 record, more or less. I'm trying to think of the other goals in any other games, but it doesn't really matter. Grace, did you see any difference in Salah yesterday, or was it just hard work, trying stuff that probably didn't work, gets a good goal, on another day you could have 2 or 3, or did you see a step up in the last couple of weeks? Because I didn't. I still think this guy is playing at 60 or 70%.
No, I thought he was slightly better. I thought his movement was slightly better. He was making a lot more movements. He was taking the ball on the half turn a lot this game, and which is he's quite unplayable when he does that with his speed over the first 10 yards or so. He's electric. I also enjoyed some of the link-up play with him and Shaq. I thought Shaq was quite influential when he was on the ball. You know, he found those pocket spaces where Ox utilised in last season. You know, so Klopp's you could see Klopp moulding sort of Shaq into in that Ox role, and I thought Shaq contributed quite a bit when he was on the ball. They had this kind of good understanding where sort of, you know, they were doing these lot of 1-2 passes along with Matt Studge as well. So it's round the corner. I know we've been saying it for a couple of weeks now that it's about to click, but it really is. And it was exactly, and as I said, short memories. It was exactly the stage where we went to Maribor and we smashed them for 7, I think, was it, or 8, and we never looked back. So, you know, Mane's had a nice rest. Bobby's had a nice rest because Bobby done fuck all when he came on. That was one of the worst substitute performances or efforts I've ever seen in my life. But they're nice and refreshed, and Salah's got his goal, which will definitely boost him. It really is around the corner, I think. And, you know, it's good to get minutes for Shaq. It's good to get minutes for Lallana while the likes of Ginny get to put their feet up. Well, we played 45 minutes. So it bodes well. I think Salah's movement, I think Salah's touch, I saw improvements, definitely.
Okay. We get to half-time, 0-0. The second half, Henderson goes off when Alden comes on. I haven't heard anything about an injury with Henderson. It could have been tactical. It could have been felt a niggle.
No, he felt a tight hamstring.
Oh, okay, the tight hamstring.
He wanted to play on, but Klopp took him off.
Yeah, okay, that's sound. So when Alden comes on, I thought when Alden was quite good when he come on. I thought he was I thought he won the ball back an awful lot, and he was very, I wouldn't say careful on the ball, but he made sure it got where it needed to go, and he opened out the play a good few times as well. I thought he was quite intelligent on the ball. Matt, the second half goes, and as it goes on and on, we probably see Liverpool deciding, oh look, let's just see what these have. Let's just see what they have, and because they are going to resort to, you know, Ian talks about this guy, the Potter. They put up, the other guy went up. Come on, then it's the other big striker, and I can't remember his name. But he comes on, and Liverpool seem to settle into a rhythm of we'll take what we have at the minute, but we'll put players on the pitch that can damage them if they really want to push us on. Matt, how do you felt we managed and controlled that second half? Because for me, it looked like we've settled for one early on, but if 2 comes along, fine. But we're not letting anything in. That's the way I thought it went. Did you think we managed it quite well second half? Were you nervous, Matt?
No, I'd had a few beers, so I was fine. We managed it how we've been managing all our games. We're saving legs, passing it around, keeping it tight. We weren't going for the 4, 5 or 6 goals. We were happy to get the 1-0, and now we can get 1-0s now because we have Van Dijk and we have Alisson and we have Robertson. We've got probably the best midfield in the league. So going for a 1-0 used to be something we'd never think of because a last-minute corner is coming in. But now I'm so chill just watching it. Like even after they had a little bit of a good run against us and they hit the post at that point, I just didn't feel like a goal was ever going in. That's how Liverpool got me feeling now because, to be fair, the goals don't go in. And if you just look at how we usually play, you judge it off that. And that's why I am like I am now. But now I'm fine with the 1-0, saving legs, not pressing every 5 minutes like a madhead. That was good.
Ian, were you nervous? Did you look at it and think we need a second here, or did you think? Because I thought if they score when we can go up a level and we'll deal with them. That's what I was thinking during the game. But as it got later and later, 80, 85, I'm starting to think, these could fucking rob one here and late and just hang on for dear life. Were you confident enough? Is it? I know. Is it sort of mind we have to get into now, where a frame of mind? Sorry, we have to get into that. This is what we do now, and we can do it. We need to be confident in ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have preferred a cushion because you never know what could happen. There was that time towards the end when that lad who come on who you got from Monaco looked very quick. He roasted Lovren, and Lovren tried to take him out. And that was a little bit hair and scaring. But listen, our defence is tremendous, so I have got faith in them. But there is always the off chance that you can concede a late equaliser when there's only a 1-goal lead. So I would have been more relaxed. I wasn't particularly stressed, but I am loving how good our defence is. I love it. Me when we're winning 4-0 or whenever it is, I would rather we won 4-0 and 5-1 at the moment or 6-1. Because it just breeds confidence through the side. It breeds confidence through the crowd, and not only that, it puts into doubt. Like a team like Huddersfield, they had the fewest amounts of shots on target. I think they'd had 20 shots on target all season. And they've gone 1-0 down. They've never come from behind in a Premier League game to win a game. They go 1-0 down against the side with the best defence in the league, one of the best centre-halves in the world. It just knocks the stuffing out of them. You know what I mean? And it does open up chances at the other end. And we did get them. We just didn't utilise the movement and stuff. But 2 years ago, I'd have been bricking it and I'd been behind the couch because we would have done something stupid. And I'm not saying we're not beyond that.
Big couch.
Because it's a corner couch. So I'm not saying we're not beyond making a last-minute mistake. Van Dijk done it against City and we got away with the penalty. Lovren's always got it in him to have a bit of a brain fart. But at some point, we've just got to hold our hands up and say, we are very good at what we're doing at the moment. It's just not what we were doing last season. There's just plenty of ways to skin a cat, isn't it? And at the minute, we look very, very strong without being exciting.
Okay, great. Just taking it on there from what Ian had said. I think he said it 2 years ago, probably less than 2 years ago. You'd be sitting there thinking we're conceding here. It's put everything you have in your bookies account and throw it on us conceding the goal because that's how it works. We really do, Grizz. We really need to get on this train where these lads are confident in themselves, holding out, getting a 1-0, 2-0 if needs be. We really need to get on board with this, don't we? Because if this is, what are we at now? The last week in October. If this goes to the last week, if we blow teams away now for 4 or 5 months, right? And then we get to March, April, and we start doing this again. If people aren't on board, Grizz, it'll spread throughout, as Ian said, it'll spread throughout the fan base, everyone at Anfield, and it'll make players nervous. We need to get on board with this, Chris.
Gav, do you know what? It's as well as the fan base, the likes of me and Matt and Ian feeling comfortable, because I'm not joking. I was so comfortable. I didn't think they were going to score. Reading, the first thing I done was sort of get off Twitter, because if you read Twitter, it was like,
carnage. Absolute carnage.
Absolute carnage. They're pounding us. Any second, Lovren is going to give a penalty. Any second, Lallana's going to do a Johan Cruyff turn and give the ball away, and they're going to score. It wasn't like that. The reality of it was, and the reality of it is we've conceded 3 goals, and one of them was a a blooper from Alisson.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the other. I can't remember the goals we conceded.
Hazard.
The Chelsea one. Yeah, Hazard one. Brilliant individual piece of skill. And what's the other? Third, we've only conceded 3 goals. Look, we can't even remember the goals.
Spurs scored
Lamella, yeah.
Spurs, the late Lamella goal.
That's when when Matt's friend Sturridge turned his back on the ball instead of going out and blocking it. Remember that?
Fucking funny. Yeah, funny. But yeah, that I mean, it not only breeds confidence amongst the fan base, but for me, more importantly, it breeds confidence in the team itself. Players are out there thinking, all right, we've got to go. Our forwards have got to go. We're not conceding for shit here. And that's a brilliant mindset to be, as compared to what you guys said like season and a half ago or season ago, where we're bricking it every time there's a cross, bricking it every time there's a set piece, or a winger makes a run and he's about to cross, and we're thinking, okay, is everyone covered in the box? Is the midfielders getting the second ball? It seems to be all in order. Unless we make an individual error, as we've said, we're not conceding goals. And that's a brilliant state of mind to be in. I think it's breeding confidence in the players. I think they're believing in the Klopp method. Whoever comes in, he's got this method of sort of playing now where, we're not sort of pushing up maybe as high and pressing as high. We're back and we're sort of almost luring teams in. The only thing that's missing from my point of view and everyone's point of view, I guess, is we're doing 75% of it right. It's just that 25% we're luring teams in. And then when we're looking to transition and attack, it's not quite coming off. But it's comfortable for me. Very comfortable.
Okay. Just before we finish up with our live part of the show where we're reviewing the match, I want to touch on one player. And I want you to give me a man of the match as well. The first player, the player I want to touch on is Fabinho. He gets on. I think he does quite well. But Matt, he gets on the pitch, and for me, he gets around it well. He wins tackles. He wins 1 or 2 things in the air, but he carries the ball as well. He carries one at one stage where they're on a little bit of an attack. He breaks it up and he just strides out 40, 50 yards and lays it off. I think it might be the Sturridge on the right-hand side. That has to be a huge positive, Matt, no? And like with these knocks we have, with this player being coming in now and hopefully gets a run of games now where you start to see his qualities and what he can bring to the side.
Yeah, everyone knows he's a quality player. That's why we spend so much money on him. We'd all like to be seeing him a bit sooner, but if Klopp doesn't think he's ready, we've seen him do this before, and he's proved everyone wrong in the past, like he does so many times. You look at with Ox and with Robertson, everyone's calling for him to be brought in, and Klopp just didn't give a shit. He waits until he's ready, and he brings it in when he doesn't care about any of this outside pressure at all. Klopp will do it when Klopp is happy for him. But what a player!
An example of Gundogan that he done at Dortmund as well with Gundogan.
Did he? I don't really. I don't watch football outside Premier League. No. But yeah, no, what a player. He was looking very classy when he came on. If that's just like a small sample of what we're going to get from him, then I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, in a short spell in the game, I think he goes up. If it was him, he wins a header around midfield, right? Then he breaks something up. Then he does this thing where he strides out with the ball, lays it off, and then a short time later the ball breaks and it's down our right hand side, and they're kind of looking to get on a break, and him and the guy are having a right tussle, and he stays at it and stays at it. He clears the ball out for a throw in. I know it's nothing amazing, but he showed a large range of what he can do in that short spell. When you look at like Henderson feeling a hamstring yesterday, Milner's only over, I think it was a hamstring or a groin as well. You've Keita that's out. It's really encouraging Ian to see someone come on and do that and know that this is the backup you have, as opposed to what you had a year or 18 months ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I go as far to say some of these players aren't even backup. It's our squad. They're not playing because they're not good enough. They're just not playing because someone else is playing. I know that sounds really...
Yeah, backup is probably the wrong word to use. Alternative, I suppose, is probably the word to use.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. He looked apart, mate. You know when he done that bit of that run where he just broke out, his stride pattern reminded me a bit of Yaya Toure. Just broke it up and just opened up a bit and pulled away. he's obviously a very good player. I've been honest on here before. I haven't seen that much of him, to be honest. But what I have seen, he's neat, he's tidy, he's big. Was he 6'2"? He's strong, he's athletic, and I don't think he'll give the ball away very often. So I've got no qualms. I would have liked to have seen him sooner, but at the end of the day, we're winning pretty much every game we play, or we're certainly not losing. If we were losing 3 or 4-0, I'm sure we'd have seen him sooner, but we're not. So I put an awful lot of money on him starting on Wednesday, though.
Yeah, I said after the game I'd like to see him start next weekend. I don't know what he'll do during the week. It's a strange game for me during the week because of the opposition and the position we're in that group. What way he'll go. Grizz, I have no issues over Fabinho whatsoever. Especially if we come up against, say for argument's sake, say City away. I think that's New Year's Day. But we come up there and we decide we'll go with 2 kind of holding players. I've no problem with him being there with Henderson or Milner or whatever way it works. But I'd really like to see him, Grizz, say at home to Cardiff, where he has to be the deepest, and the 2 guys in front have a little bit more license to go. I want to see him where he's a little bit exposed and see how he handles it. Is there something you'd like to see, or are you comfortable with that? Is there anything you're uncomfortable about with this player? Because I can't see many weaknesses in him, and I think it's been over-egged because he's been taking a long time to be integrated into this side.
Yeah, I'm not. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not fussed about the situation at all. We bought him because he's good. We spent 40-odd million because he's good. He's part of the squad. He's part of the team. When Klopp sees fit, he will play him. The all summer it was, we bought in Fabinho, and a lot of people called it the death of Hendo, and they thought Fabinho's is going to be the death of Hendo. And what I love about football in general is that it shocks you every time, and it can prove you wrong any time, and you have to hold your hands up. And who would have thought, right, that where are we? What month are we in, lads? Help me out here. Coming up to November. All right, so we're coming up to November. All right, and the debate is, and
it's a Sunday.
And if we were to do all right, shut up now. All right, so
you asked.
And just to fucking ask for what day is, not giving me a fucking whole itinerary.
It's the year of the snake, I think. Sorry, go on.
I'm not going to lose my trail of thought. Carry on.
All right.
I'm
finished now. I'm finished now.
All right. So we're in November, coming up to November, and if we ask every Liverpool fan, is it Fabinho? Is it Hendo? The name of Gini wouldn't have turned up, and it's Gini Wijnaldum who's been the best central midfielder. It's Gini Wijnaldum that's played that deepest role better than Fabinho or Hendo. So it's amazing. They're all part of the team. They're all part of the squad. It's alternatives. We have options, and it's amazing how we're not used to these options, and it's almost irking people. Why have we got options? Well, my favourite playing over another. It doesn't work like that. Klopp assesses these players, and he's obviously seen something we don't know. None of us, I know you asked the question, what is it? Why isn't he playing? We don't know. We really don't know. The question only Klopp and his team can answer. We can only speculate, but there's obviously something he's seen in training, his positional, while we're in transition or off the ball, on the ball. He's not pressing enough, or he's pressing in the wrong areas, which Klopp and his team are working on. And when they think he's ready, I actually think, Ian, I'm 6'2" and everything. I actually think he's a little bit slight. I actually think maybe Klopp's trying to maybe beef him up, or he needs to beef up slightly, because I saw him in a couple of 50-50s. A couple of 50-50s, and he gets a little bit, for a man who's 6'2", he does get a little bit eased off the ball slightly. But listen,
he done that for Origi, didn't he?
We know, yeah, exactly.
Take him out for dinner one day. Take him out for dinner one day, and he'll put some 16 pounds on.
Yeah, so it could be something along those lines. I mean, give him a packet of Maltesers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You send him down to you, Grizz. Send him down to you for a week and a half, and you'll throw loads of weight on him.
You don't know. While you was doing the technical stuff, the big packet of Maltesers.
Yeah, give us a look. Yeah, 6-pack of them, is it?
Yeah,
Maybe
6 packs.
He throws at them.
But anyway, the point is, Fabinho, no issues, absolutely. He understands it. You can tell from his comments in the press that he totally understands that he's got to bide his time and he's ready to step in. And I think in the big games away and in the later on in the season, I do think him and Hendo will play a lot of double pivots, or him and Ginny, and it'll be sound.
Okay. Just before we finish up the live part of the show, I want to ask you man of the match. Matt, I'll come to you first. If you haven't lost your train of thought, Chris has given us a whole breakdown on everything there. Matt, man of the match.
I like Shaq. I thought he done well. I'm going to give it to Lovren.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Did you see the 2-minute videos on Twitter today about Lovren and all his mistakes he's made? Fucking amazing.
No, but I haven't saw them. Yeah. But I bet you I can narrow it down to 5 people
Yeah, you can narrow that down to me after this, and I'll let you guess after this, and then I'll tell you if you're right. Right. So Lovren has 1 vote. Ian, your vote for man of the match?
I'll go for Gomez.
Yeah. Any particular reason other than he strolled through the game and was?
I just thought he was outstanding. There was a couple of times when he could have got in behind him. Maybe if Trent had played, he'd have got in. But Gomez he's just developed so much in the last few months as a centre back. He's now taking that. He's using that experience when he's playing at right back as well. I'm a big fan. I thought he was excellent. I thought Alisson was brilliant as well. Even though he didn't do much, he just looked so assured.
The jersey is amazing.
Yeah, he just looked brilliant. But Gomez for me.
Okay, not Matt. Grace, your man of the match, please.
Yeah, one player.
It's got to be big Go Gomez. Just over Ginny. Even though Ginny only played 45 minutes. I think if Ginny played another 10 minutes, I would have given it to Ginny. It's got to be big Go Gomez. I thought he was class again. The transition he makes now from centre back to right back, which is two totally, state the obvious, but 2 totally different positions. But it's not simple as just sort of shifting to the right. But he's fucking amazing me every week. I love it. I love being proved wrong about Go Gomez.
Okay. I have to be honest, I'm going to agree with both of you, and I have to give it to Gomez as well. Ian's right. They tried to get in behind him once or twice, and there was one stage where a guy actually hits a bad pass, but it's still a kind of a 50-50 first half, and he strides across and he hits this guy and hits the ball, and the guy goes about 15 feet travelling, and he just gets up as if, that's just what I do. I thought he was outstanding. The mention for Shaqiri as well, though. I think going forward, he's our most creative player.
Just a very quick mention for Joe Gomez. None of us described his pass into Shaqiri. Very underrated.
Yeah, involved with the goal, yeah.
I've criticised his quality on the ball in the past, especially from a fullback area. But he's improved on that twofold as well. And that was a brilliant pass infield. If Trent done that, we would have been singing his praises. So we've got to be fair.
Yeah, and
I mentioned it.
And one thing about Shaqiri as well. The touch of the game yesterday on the right touchline, second half, and he barely keeps it in. And in one movement, I think he nutmegs a guy that's diving in and sets Sturridge away. He was quite clever on the ball, I think, Shaqiri. Listen, that's the review of the game, and that's the end of the live part of the show. You will have another part of the show added to this to download from this evening, if not this evening, first thing in the morning. But that's been your live review. That's been from the Fb4. We'll talk to you soon.